Hello and welcome to another The Church Out of Hiraeth. It's a glorious day. The clocks have gone forward and the sky is blue. The birds are singing, the sun's out, and this will be our final The Church Out of Hiraeth online service of March 2025. Time flies, doesn't it? I've got Dilwyn with me, our Bedlington Terrier, and he does feature in the message later in the service, so that's why he's with us right now at the start. But let's read, shall we, from the Bible, Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and your going, both now and forevermore. Enjoy today's service.
The hymn I've chosen for today fits in nicely with the reading that Stewart's done. It's what a friend we have in Jesus. And he's a friend that stays with us and watches over us at all times. There's not many of us could have a friend like that, who is with us at all times and always there for us. So Jesus is a very special friend to have.
Back to the reading, and I want to focus on something in particular. In verse 3, he who watches over you. Verse 4, he who watches over Israel. Verse 5, the Lord watches over you. Verse 6, he will watch over your life. And verse 8, the Lord will watch over your coming and going. We find there, don't we, 5 times in 8 verses that the Lord watches over us. I think we get the message there. When God repeats himself, then it's important. But when he goes on and reiterates the point that's just been made, then it becomes extremely important. It's there for us to take on board, isn't it? When you say something to someone, it might be at work, it might be in your family, it might be in a context where you want to pass on a message to someone and you tell them, but then you remind them, then it's important. But if you remind them again and again and again, it's very, very important. And that's the case there in Psalm 121. He watches over us. He wants us to get that message. We had Dilwyn with us at the start of the service. He's gone off now downstairs. And this morning, I took him for his walk over the woodland where I live. He loves it. It's great. He has a really good time. But today, I don't know what trails he was following, because we have badgers and foxes and deer and squirrels and rabbits, never mind other dogs, but certainly those mammals. And he has this thing where he gets his nose down and follows the trails. And he's normally very well behaved. He likes to stray on a little bit and you give him a call and he comes back. But this morning, he got his nose down and he was off. And I had to keep going after him and shouting him, and then he would eventually come. And on one occasion, he really did go. He never run off in that sense that he wants to escape. But he got his nose down and he was following a trail. And I came to a point in the woods where I could have gone one of three ways. I decided to go straight ahead. Thankfully, it was the right way, because about 100 yards down, there he was, Dilwyn, with his nose down, sniffing. But at that point, he realised that he'd gone a little bit too far. And I called him and he came to me straight away. And for the rest of the walk, because I was thinking I need to put him on his lead now, but I'll give him a little bit of leeway just to see. And I'm glad I did, because for the rest of the walk, he never went more than 5 or 10 yards from where I was. And as soon as I called him, he came to me. It was as if he realised that it's not good being lost. Suddenly, you get distracted and you realise that I'm lost. And we've had this before with him, actually, and it's all because of his nose to the ground experiences that he has, his encounters with the wildlife in the woods. And he goes off, but then he realises that he was lost. And then you notice a big change. He doesn't want to be separated from us. I believe in freedom, 100%, freedom of speech, the ability to speak your mind, etc., etc. But then in this context, when it comes to freedom to just do what we want and go our own way, as we all know, I'm sure, that can be very, very destructive, can't it? Because, like my dog, we can get lost. Maybe not lost physically in the sense that we don't know where we are, but we can get lost emotionally. We can get lost in terms of moral direction in our lives, and we can certainly get lost spiritually. And that's why the Bible tells us, just in that short Psalm 121, 8 verses, 5 times, he watches over us. He's always there. That's the great thing about our lives. If we want, we can open them up to God, and he will always be there for us. I've seen dogs that are lost, and they have really then become lost, and they panic and they run around and they don't like it. And that can be like us sometimes. We think it's good. We think that we're free to do our own thing and do what we want to do. And on the surface, that might sound very appealing to lots of people. But then you realise that being lost is not a good place to be in. As I've already stated, not just the physical being lost, but we're talking about the emotional, the moral direction, the spiritual being lost. It's a great comfort to me in my life as a Christian to know that God is watching over me. It doesn't mean to say he keeps us on a short lead. It doesn't mean to say that he spoils our fun and we can't do what we want to do in that sense. Far from it. What it means is that he's there to keep us from harm. I know that if my dog gets lost, that he's not going to be happy at all. You don't know who's going to pick him up, who's going to collect him. It could be a good person, they return him. Could be the opposite end of the spectrum, and you never see him again. I know that watching over my dog is in his interests. He doesn't realise it because he's just the dog, but it is. And that's why God watches over us. And he tells us 5 times in 8 verses that he's there watching over us. But of course, we have to hear his voice. When I called Dilwyn, he just got so distracted that he got lost temporarily. But when he saw me, he came to me straight away because he knows that it's not a good place to be in. Always remember that if we want, he'll never force his way into our lives. But if we want, God will watch over us. In fact, he's watching over us all the time anyway. But for that to come into effect, we have to open up and allow him to do that. He watches over you. Great verses, aren't they, from Psalm 121. We hope that you've enjoyed this week's online service. If you've got this far, there's a good chance that you might have done, or at least you're interested or curious. Perhaps don't forget to check out the website hiraeth.church. Really simple to remember there. And we do have a Wednesday Words of Wisdom as well, so that will be online, of course, in a few days' time. And starting from April, we're going to have some guests in our Sunday morning service. So as they say, watch this space on that one.